All right, everybody's streaming into the Zoom. That's very exciting. Welcome, welcome. We've got a full house tonight, whatever that means in the virtual event space, but we're just going to wait for everyone to filter in before we get started. All right. If you, as you're coming in, if you feel like saying hi in the chat and letting us know where you're tuning in from, it's really fun to see the spread of the crowd we draw for these, since you can attend from anywhere in the world. So it'd be great to know. Wow, cool. We got some West Coasters, Midwesterners, people from the Southwest, New Orleans, Maryland. Very cool. Excellent. Wow, really from all over. That's so cool. All right, we're just going to wait a few more minutes, another minute or so, and then we'll get started. Thanks everyone for coming tonight. And yeah, do let us know where you're tuning in from. All righty. Good crowd. Boston suburbs, that's where I'm from too. All right, I'm just going to get started and people will continue to filter into the Zoom. We have a big event tonight, so we want to get out of the way as quickly as possible. Good evening, everyone, and welcome to tonight's live online author event with Greenlight Bookstore. I'm Jean from Greenlight, and we're thrilled to host tonight's event with Gina Schock, launching her new book, Made in Hollywood, All Access with the Go-Go's. She'll be talking with Kate Pierson of the B52, so you're in for an excellent time. Before we start, I just want to say a huge thanks to Gina, Kate, and the team at Black Dog and Leventhal for making this happen, and to all of you for showing up tonight. Although we're not able to host events in our store spaces, our community of authors and readers is always here, and we're so grateful for your support and the chance to make space for conversation and connection around books. Before we get started, there's just a few housekeeping things to keep in mind. In our Zoom webinar tonight, you can see and hear the speakers, but they can't see or hear you. They can see that you're here though, and there are a couple of different ways you can interact with the authors and with each other throughout tonight's event, one of which you've already made use of if you told us where you're tuning in from, which is the chat. That's the icon that looks like one speech balloon at the bottom of your screen. You're welcome to post your comments and your thoughts, your reactions, which is a great way to show your appreciation for the author and to interact with your fellow attendees. If you have a specific question you'd like to have answered by the author or the interviewer tonight, please post that question in the Q&A module. You can find it by clicking on the icon that looks like two speech balloons. We'll be pulling questions at the end of the evening only from the Q&A module to be answered in the later part of the evening. And most importantly, tonight's featured book, Made in Hollywood, is available for sale from Greenlight Bookstore. You can shop in person from 10 a.m. to 7 p.m. at both our Fulton Street and Flatbush Ave stores, where you can purchase Gina's book and so many others on site. You can also order online at greenlightbookstore.com for a quick pickup at the store or for shipping anywhere in the US. I'll drop the buy link in the chat periodically over the course of the evening. If you care about supporting the careers of authors and the ongoing existence of independent bookstores, buying tonight's featured book is a great way to show your support. And now our interviewer tonight is Kate Pierson, a musician and one of the founding members of the B-52s, legendary, in which she plays guitar, bass, various keyboard instruments, and vocals. In 2015, Pierson released her first solo album, Guitars and Microphones. She'll be speaking tonight with our featured author, Gina Schock. Gina is a working musician and a songwriter known for being part of the all-female band, The Go-Go's, for 4 decades. She has done everything from producing the Go-Go's DVD release of their 2001 concert live in Central Park to co-writing the title track for the Miley Cyrus album Breakout, in addition to several songs on Selena Gomez and the Scene's debut album Kiss and Tell. Schock's songs have also appeared in many movies, including The Accused, Superstar, and Bull Durham, to name a few. She has also acted for television and independent films. Made in Hollywood is Gina's first book, and it's her personal account of the band, which includes a treasure trove of photographs and memorabilia collected over the course of her 40-year career. So Gina is going to start us off with a reading or presentation from the book, and then she'll be talking with Kate, and lastly with all of you. So without further ado, please take it away, Gina. Gina, I think you're on mute. You want to unmute before you. Great.
How's that?
Great.
Better. Okay. I just want to say that I'm in such a grateful mode in my life. I mean, you know, I've been able to do what I love my entire adult life. And to have that all chronicled through photographs that I took and have it in a book all in one place has only been a dream. The girls in the band always wanted me to do something like this, but it felt so overwhelming, you know? And so I couldn't be happier or prouder of how it's come out. It was a long journey. It was a year and a half going through all these photos. You just get lost. It was, you know, I would bring the photos out for the girls to look at, and we would get hysterical and laugh about all the things we've been through. You know, you look at a photograph, it all comes back. And what I initially had started out as a Go-Go's photo coffee table book, I started writing. You know, my publisher came to me and said, you know what, how do you feel about writing about these photos? I was like, I don't know, I'm not a writer. But then the more I looked at them, the more it started to creep out. There's so many stories about every one of these shots, you know, what was happening at that moment, what was happening during that particular time, that day, that month, that year. So much to draw from all over the place. And so, you know, I don't know about reading something from this book and how it's going to, you know, there were so many people that we met over the years. And let's see this. This is kind of a sweet thing that we got from a young comedian who was just starting out. And we were playing Saturday Night Live, and it came in, it was a telegram, and it said, I love you, good luck, and I'll be watching tonight hope to see you soon, Pee Wee Herman. There are things like this and much more that I saved because they all mean something to me. They were all important in making this group what it became. I don't discount any of this stuff. I saved it all. I'm not a hoarder, but I did save it all because I'm a sentimentalist, and it all touched me, you know. This is what the book is about. And once again, as far as reading something out of the book, what would you like me to do? Read like a couple of paragraphs or something?
Sure. If there's a section that you feel like encapsulates the spirit of the book, or you have a favorite couple of pages, that would be great. Whatever you feel.
Let's see. Well, you know what? My book mainly focuses on the beginning of the group, the first 5-6 years, because that is when that was the best part. You know how they always say the struggle is the best part? Well, this was the best part. Oh my God, I get stuck on these photos. Sorry, you guys. I just, like, here's something Belinda wrote, okay? And she sent in this essay. She says, the title was Barbie is a Friend of Mine. None of us had any money. I went from job to job in the early days. I would cash my checks and put all my money in a Barbie thermos. It seemed like a smart place to keep it. Disgraceland, that's where she lived. That's the apartment building that was deemed Graceland, Disgraceland. Was the name of the house where I lived, and I would never leave my money there. It was kind of a flop house, and it was known for being one of the dirtiest places to live in Hollywood. There was always a lot going on, people in and out all the time. A couple could be having sex in one of the bedrooms while there was a fist fight happening in the living room. Our friends were really interesting, to say the least. When night came, we would venture out into the streets to find the best party, wherever that may have been. There was always something happening in Chinatown. It was special because all the clubs were in the same square, one big hangout. We traveled as a group, and over the course of the evening, you could find us at Hong Kong Garden, Madame Wan's, or Cathay de Grand. We played at all three clubs regularly, and there were usually 3 different shows going on at the same time, which is true, it was. I mean, you could walk over to any venue and your buddies would be playing there, and you walk across the street and your other friends are playing there. Let me see where I left off. We played all of these clubs regularly. While we were performing, I never left the Barbie thermos in the dressing room. I would bring it on stage with me and put it in Gina's kick drum. Nobody could get it without me seeing it. I wouldn't let it out of my sight because all the money I had in the world was in there. And it was usually around $100. After we finished our shows, we would hang out in the plaza and then walk over to this bar that was like a throwback from Chinatown in the 1930s. It was ornately decorated, and we marveled at how cool it was. So gorgeous. Everyone's favorite drinks were Singapore slings and kamikazes. We'd talk about the crazy things that happened when we were playing that night. There's a show I won't forget that was at the Cathay de Grand. I thought we had only one set, and somehow someone offered me a Quaalude. Of course, I took it, not realizing we had 2 shows to do that night. Before long, it hit me, and I was immediately fucked up. I had to get it together enough to make it to the stage, where I sat in a chair, slumped over, slurring every word. That wasn't one of my finer moments. I made it through that second set, and no one complained. Our audience loved it, and they cheered me on as I barely kept my eyes open. Back when we weren't trying to be anything, we just were. The essence of the Go-Go's is that there really is no pretense. For us, it was just a party. We were out there to have a good time. If you don't time your drugs the right way, you just deal with it. At the end of the night, everyone went home with whomever. I always went home with Barbie.
So good.
Yeah, her thermos that she'd stick all her money in. So figured, and then throw it in my kick drum because nobody could get to it without us seeing it. It's right on stage. So it was a smart move, no matter how screwed up you were.
That is such a good story.
That's a good one.
I used to bring my purse on stage. I always had this big blue purse, like this giant blue vinyl. It had glitter in it. And I would bring that on stage and set it on my keyboard. You know, we'd all had our ways of protecting and I've had money stolen. I've had my purse.
Sure.
Stolen. We had all our cars stolen once, you know, who hasn't been ripped off, but
yes.
I just love that, bringing the stuff on stage with you and hiding it, because that's the only place it's safe.
It is, no matter who you left it with, you know. Yeah. And the truth was, there was always so much going on. So if you left it with your tour manager or something, it wasn't the safest place, not unless they had like a place where they could lock it away.
Well, one of our first gigs, Steve Rabowski was our tour manager, and we didn't realize this was his first gig, sort of first job, maybe. I don't know. He was driving us from the airport, and everyone was beeping, and we didn't realize he had just gotten his driver's license, and he really was just driving like a maniac. And he had a briefcase with the money that we got for the gig, and the office the wall didn't go all the way to the ceiling, and someone crawled in and stole all the money. So Even with the
Oh.
tour manager, it's not safe. In those days, do you remember everything was cash? Like after a gig, there'd be just stacks of, well, hopefully there would be some cash from the gig, but when times were good, there were just stacks of cash. And
Well,
how
yeah.
much did the band see of that, I wonder?
Then, well, because nobody could really keep a count. The IRS couldn't really do a good count. And certainly the bands, we didn't really, we
No,
weren't sure what was going on. We were told what the numbers were, but
right.
the accounting system really sucked, and we just had to sort of go along with it and hopefully make friends with the promoters and or the club owners,
Right.
so that they do the right thing when we played again. But of course, Kate, if you remember when we would do well at the various clubs, we started to get really treated well.
Yeah.
Didn't
Yeah.
take long before people were treating us the right way. But first couple of times around, it was kind of hard.
But it was a
Um,
fun time when you didn't even care about making the money. I mean, the first
Yeah.
time we did,
You just
we got
want to have
like
fun.
$15.
You wanted to have fun with your friends. That's why you were there. That's why you were doing it. It was like, I don't know. It's like, how lucky were we? We get to do like
Oh,
what we love to do. We're having fun, and we get to make
Yeah.
some money. Well, maybe we're not making the most money in the world, but we were doing all right.
yeah, as long as we
You
could
know-
just pay for a hotel and meals and
Yeah, we
instruments
get to
and
quit. We get to quit our regular job, right?
yeah. That was the best part.
The best.
I went to quit. I was a paste-up artist on the Athens Banner Herald. The day I went to quit, and I was all geared up, I'm going in there, I'm gonna quit, because they kept wanting me to work on the weekends. And I walked in there and they said, well, we have to tell you that you're fired because you
Ooh.
put in the obituary wrong. And I was like, yes, now I can get unemployment. So that was just a wonderful, the only job I was ever fired from. And it was just like the perfect timing, because then, I could get unemployment and we could do our gigs. We all had little jobs. And when we were able to quit those jobs, wasn't it fabulous?
It felt like, you finally made it. You can quit that job. And
Yeah.
now every penny you get is you're going to be earning from playing in a band.
Yeah.
Wow.
What was your
What a big
first,
deal.
what was the job you were doing that you were able to quit?
The last job that I had that I was able to stop was I had moved to LA and was living with this friend of mine, Steve, in Beverly Glen. And there was a shop up the street called Odie's Market. And Odie's was, kids were working there. Of course,
Yeah.
I'm like, in my early 20s and I'm working there, whatever. I had to get a job. And working there was really kind of cool. The guys didn't treat you that well that owned the place, but I'd sit out front eating my lunch, and who would pull up directly in front of me? George Harrison and his wife would pull up. The Runaways would all pull up in a car.
Wow.
You never know who was going to show up, because it's in LA. There's that on Beverly Glen. There's that one market. It's still there in the middle of Beverly Glen, and I think it'll probably be there forever. But lots of folks used to stay there. Like George Harrison lived right up the top of the hill there. It was a lot of artists in
Wow.
that canyon, and so you never knew who was going to drop in there. But it was a cool place to be working, because I just run right around the front. Hi.
Wow. Just working in Hollywood is, I guess, fun. I mean, this is such a different scene, like for us, dark punk New York or, new wave. I mean, we brought a lot of glitter and glam to the scene, but still the LA punk scene, it's, I wasn't that familiar with it. And so I was just reading that, I was listening to the audiobook. I think it's called Under the Big Black Sun.
Oh,
It's all
that's
about LA.
John's book.
And Gina's in it. Yes, John Doe and Exene, and they're all, reading their comments on their memories.
Right.
Like a collective memoir. But I was listening to some of the punk bands, the early LA punk bands. It was so hardcore. They were really
They were.
really
They really were.
hardcore.
But you know what? It was a great scene because everybody supported each other. You
Yeah.
know, it really was cool. It was like, and you know, somebody be playing, they'd like, oh, come up on stage and play the last song with us. And the audience was up for anything you want to do, they were fine with, you know?
Yeah,
They really
yeah.
were. They didn't care what you did, as long as you were having fun and you were interacting with them. They were all happy campers.
Well, something I didn't even remember that my friend Robert Waldrop reminded me of and texting this morning, that when we played Max's Kansas City, we followed Teenage Jesus and the Jerks like twice, I think, the very like first shows we did. And what a contrast, you know, Teenage Jesus and the Jerks. And then we come on with our Planet Claire. And it's just like, it must have been like, what is this? And you guys
One
too.
day before I die, please let me sing back up.
Anytime, man, anytime, you are always welcome to come on stage. And
I know it all. I'm the biggest fan, Kate. I love you guys. You're so good.
well, I love you guys too. And it's like we kind of grew up together. And
I know we did grow
You know.
up together. You know what? Really, I swear to God, we got to get our managers to talk about maybe doing some shows next year. Don't you think?
I know those were the fun times when we toured together. That was great.
Oh, it
Yeah.
was the best tour ever when we got to tour with you guys in, what was it, 1990, right?
And also, I think 2013, we did a big tour.
Did we? I
Yeah.
don't remember, but I'm going to tell you what, I just know that every day getting up and being able to hang around with your friends that you're
Yeah.
totally comfortable with, talking about the night before, you know, getting
Yeah.
excited to want to play as the best you can, showing off for each other. And oh God, that was really, really a great time. It's really magical.
I mean, because
I miss that.
people think all musicians hang out together, get to see each other, but you know, you're always gigging. So
Yeah.
it's hard
Yeah.
to hang out. Like a
Yes,
lot
it
of
is.
times, if you're opening or you closing the set, you know, you're getting your makeup done. Or I've told the story a million times, but Chrissy Hine, when we played with the Pretenders, she said, I want to go first because when you're finishing your set, I'll be in bed. So
You know, she probably was telling the truth.
well, she put out mega energy anyway, so she deserved
Yeah.
it. But it is great to have, you know, friends, and we toured with so many different people, but you guys were the most fun, you know, because it was like all the women together.
Ditto. It's because it wasn't things, I feel like things were just understood, you know?
Yeah, and there was no like macho vibe. It was just fun vibe, and I mean, not that,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
Just
No,
felt
no,
like-
no macho vibe, just
Yeah.
fun, whatever works. We're all cool. We're all very cool with each other because we knew, you know, the journeys that we had both been on, being in a band with girls. They
Yeah.
don't, you know, not being taken seriously.
Yeah.
Which I'm now sort of in the, I've been in the throes. I'm hoping it's going to work out. I want to, you know, I want to play drums in the finale of our induction into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. And I'm hoping to hear shortly, because right at this particular time, I haven't been given an okay to do it, which
Well,
sucks. I mean, you know,
what's going to happen? Who's playing drums? What do you mean? You play drums?
Okay, so Foo Fighters are the house band, and at the end they'll come out and do a couple songs or something, and then for the grand finale, everybody comes out, which whoever's been inducted,
Right.
the Go-Go's, and they're going to do Tumbling Dice. And they asked me, do I want to play tambourine? And I was like, no, I don't want to play no fucking tambourine. No, I don't want to play tambourine. I'm a drummer. I'm a good drummer.
Right.
I could play Tumbling Dice in a coma. You know, it's what I'm good at. I'm good at that strong, straight stuff.
Right.
You know?
Right.
And Taylor's incredible. So the two of us together, it would be really fun. So I've been fighting that all goddamn day, and we'll see
Wow.
how that works out at the end
Yeah.
of the night. But if you don't see me on a drum kit, you won't see me at all, baby, because I'm not gonna go out there and look foolish. I just won't do it.
Wow. Well,
I mean,
I've always loved a good tambourine, though. Sometimes watch someone on stage playing tambourine, I'm just fascinated. I mean, sometimes I've seen someone really work that tambourine, but you're
Well,
right, you should be drumming. You should be there drumming. I mean, it's
I
your
should
night.
really be drumming. I'm not like, I can play tambourine, but that's not my forte.
Yeah,
That's not what I, you know what I mean? Really, I'm a drummer and I hit drums hard and I play with
I mean,
my
you're a rock
soul,
drummer.
and that's what I need to do. So we'll see what happens. I'm gonna
Yeah.
keep our fingers crossed, Kate.
Bring
Will happen.
one of those drumline drums and you can just
Oh yeah, right.
surprise them.
Yeah, nah, I think it'll work out. I really do. I don't know why they wouldn't. I mean, I understand, the logistics of stuff. It all has to be worked out, but come on, you could put another kit up there. Put a snare, hi-hat, and a cymbal. That's okay. Give me a kick drum, a snare, hi-hat, and a cymbal. I
Yeah.
can play tumbling dice on that.
Well, I want to hear that. I want to hear
Yeah.
you play that.
I want to do it. So you liking the book, Kate?
I'm loving the book, and I got 3 copies because we're trying so hard. You were trying so hard to get a copy to me, and I was going back and forth between a couple of places, and
Yeah,
so
you go
I
from
wound up with
nothing
3.
to everything.
Woohoo! So it's great. I love, because I did see it, PDF copy of it, but seeing it in person here, it's just like I can't tear myself away. And I love the writing. And when you asked me to write an essay, I was like, essay? What am I gonna, how is it gonna be
Turned out
not
so
maybe
good.
like anyone else's? But when you tell your own experience, it can't be like anyone else's. So each essay is so great, and the writing is so good, and the pictures just really, what I love most is like here's this great picture of Paul Reubens, our friend, Pee Wee. But just the candid, you don't see that much. I mean, back in the day, we're like, oh, I don't like that picture of me. But now that we're older and we look at the young pictures, like, we look pretty good. So I think just looking back and seeing this goofy, goofing and making faces and doing all the stuff that you naturally do without thinking like this is going to be seen someday, it's going to be in a book. Just to have that here is so precious. It's like, wow, it's candid moment.
And at that age, Kate, you can get away with anything.
Yeah.
Right? I mean,
yeah.
When you're that age, you just look cute and goofy.
And all the outfits, like I love the changes that the people go through. Every band kind of, you start out, you wear something, just the changes in the look and in the music, as you develop and you sort of go, the look develops along with the music, and maybe you get more slick, and then you realize, oh, we're too slick, and you pull back and you get more, I don't know. It's just such a loop-de-loop journey, and it's all here in this book. And I just love that it's so candid and unabashed and, unpretentious. It's just really, really fun to look at these pictures. And it's kind of like every band can look at this. And I think every person can look at it and think, oh, this is like when I was young, and it's not about being young, but just starting an adventure, starting out an adventure, whatever age you're at, and you get those candid pictures when you're all excited and doing something new.
It is, and it is all about an adventure, isn't it? Whether you start out by yourself or with a friend, you're setting out on this journey. You're not quite sure where you end up, but you got to do it. There's something compelling you. Something is compelling you deep down inside that you have to make this jump. You have to take a leap of faith, and when you're, 21, 22, in that, at that point, you feel like anything's possible.
Right.
And that's what's so great about youth. You really do believe that you can do anything.
Yeah.
And also, I came from parents that really did make me believe that anything was possible. All I had to do was put my mind to it and work hard. And that they always told me anything you want is attainable. Just gotta put your head to it and work hard, and you'd be surprised where you end up one day. And if that doesn't work out, well, you use what you've just been working on to not kick you up to another level in whatever direction you want to go. because it all accumulates and it's all worth something. And
Yeah.
that's the way I always looked at stuff. I knew that going out, that going out to LA, if it didn't work in LA, I would use that experience to go maybe back to New York or maybe up to San Francisco, wherever it may be. And I'd push and I'd push and I'd push till I found the right people that I really felt a connection with,
Right.
that I knew would, that had something. I had to find the right people that had some sort of magic. They had to have something happening. And the Go-Go's did. They really did. There were these great little harmonies in the midst of all this thrashing and pretty crappy playing. But you could decipher it. You could figure it out,
Well, there was definitely, I mean, it's almost like the planets have to align, you have to have this ingredients that make the one whole better than any of the parts, really. I mean, everyone, I think in your band is talented, did other things, but when you come together, it's a special kind of thing that nothing can reproduce that, it's just this magic.
We all say that, Kate, that is absolutely the same with you guys. I mean, do you feel that about your band?
Yes, like everyone's equally talented, but when we come together, it's like there's nothing, it's just so unique, it's like
it is. Isn't that weird that wonderful chemistry that happens that you couldn't pay for, you couldn't conjure it up. It's just there when you're in the same room with your bandmates. And when you pick up your instruments, next level,
Yeah. And we used to say together we're a genius, somehow, somewhere.
I get it. Together the Go-Go's are like a monster head.
We used to say, with a 5-headed monster.
No, it's a monster with 10 arms.
The Hydra.
Oh,
so I'm amazed though that you took all the photographs. I mean, how did you know, or did you have any inkling like you were going to use these photographs? Was it just fun, like just for kicks?
It was just fun, Kate. I was always into photography, and even driving out to Cali, I had an Instamatic that I was snapping away with. And when I got a little money, I bought a 35 millimeter Canon camera, which I then continued to take photos. And I was wholeheartedly interested in photography and wanted to, see if I could sort of come up with anything that would make sense, that would stick out in the world of photography, that would be some sort of a statement that I could, grab onto and go, whoa, Gina's got a style, or something worthy. And I figure, you start where you're most comfortable. That's my band. I started with the band, with the Go-Go's.
I love this picture of you here.
Thanks. I like that too.
Who took that picture?
Me. I just take it me.
Oh, right. Okay.
Right. Me taking a picture of me in the camera. I mean, in the mirror.
Which is so appropriate because, it was through your eyes.
Yeah. So. It's been really great, Kate. It really has. Have you read it yet, or you just been skimming through?
I've read a lot of it. Not all of it though, because I just got it. And I'm just skimming through, looking at all the pictures, reading I had read that Belinda's essay, which I thought was really cool because it did kind of the same thing. And read Jodie Foster's, and of course I read mine just to make sure it's okay. No, it's really, really amazing. I just think the way it's put together, the color, the layout is just, it's really great. You've really accomplished something amazing. And we're following in your footsteps because we're gathering, I spent this winter gathering all the photographs. We're doing a book and a documentary too, B-52. So we're just getting it together. We're just getting met with the archivists, and Cindy's husband, Keith Bennett, has a treasure trove of stuff. And I have a bin of Super 8 film, and they're going through that now, and pictures and all
Oh,
the slides. I don't
oh,
know why I took slides, but anyway, we're working on it, and I appreciate how much work it is, because we're
oh,
doing it
Christ.
collectively, but you did all of this, and it's every time I talk to you, you were like immersed in doing the book and laying it out and getting it together, which is a huge amount of work.
You know, Kate, you
Fun.
just would set your schedule every day at the end of the evening, whatever, how much you got to, then you set your schedule up for the next day. You just get up and you start doing it.
Yeah,
You know,
it's
I mean,
great to have
you just
that
you get up
motivation.
and start doing it.
Yeah.
And same thing the next day, next day. That went on for a year and a half. But when you are doing something that is a labor of love, and
Yeah,
it truly was, and it is going to be for you too, you just you push harder and farther than you would if it was just strictly about like making a lot of money, you know?
right.
To me, this is about like showing the band in a light that they've never been seen in, because it's for me, it's from someone in the band who, you know, somehow became the archivist, and I have all this stuff, and you get to see it from my perspective, which I feel is like a good perspective, because I love all this stuff. It all has value, and I want everyone to see, you know, I want all the fans to see the value of everyone in this band, and you know, all the years that have been put into making us what we are now today. And there's been some tough times, been mostly great times, but
There's always some tough times, but like you said, and it's funny, I read Chris Franz's book, Remain in Love, and he said the same thing, being on the drummer's seat, you're on a throne there. You're saying you are the heartbeat of the band, and you have the best seat in the house. And so you could see the audience, you could see the band, and the fact that you sort of documented all of that with your camera, it's just somehow really appropriate that the drummer did that, because you had this bird's eye view.
Yes, I did. And you know what? I always, you know, even on my even when I was driving out in my dad's pickup truck, I had an Instamatic camera hanging around my neck. So I started back with an Instamatic camera in 77. I was always into wanting to take photos, and I just wanted to document everything around me.
Yeah.
I wanted to be able to one day look back at that and go, oh my God, remember what was happening at that moment? Remember what we were doing? How cool was that? We've lived through that. We're here to talk about it. Like, I don't know.
Didn't you do a lot of uncensored photos? We did a lot of goofy photos that, you know, I don't think anyone in the band would want anyone to see, you know, just goofing around, but doing like.
Well, what do you think? You've looked at the book. Do you think there's some that are slightly risque, or some that are sort of like, just a bunch of girls goofing off?
That's what I love about it. Yeah. I mean, I don't think any of it's really risque. It's just goofing. The goofing off part is what I love, because we did all of that too. And it's just so refreshing to see the unposed, you know, and unposed, you know, because everything, you know, someone's pointing the camera, you're like,
and what it's really like, what it's really like when you get goddamn bored on tour. Okay.
Exactly. It shows.
This is what happens when you get bored.
Yeah. Oh God. Yeah. You're bored and you're nothing to do. Someone has a camera and a bunch of hams.
Absolutely.
You know, everyone's always a bunch of hams, right? Everyone's always willing to pose and, you know, get in there. So I know sometimes people are like, no, but for the most part, it seemed like everyone was willing. And the fact that you could.
Isn't that funny? It's funny how like all your bandmates are willing. If somebody else wants to take a picture, it's like, nah, fucking leave me alone. I don't know.
Right.
But when it's somebody in the band, they're like, yeah, sure, whatever you want.
Oh yeah, I'll do any stupid thing, you know, any kind of lewd thing with the, you know, get the, you know how it is.
I know how it is, Kate. I know. Oh my God.
I am so I'm like feel like I'm awash in both of your memories, and I don't want to stop the flow, but our Q&A is teeming with questions.
Awesome. I love
and Kate, I don't know if you want to look through the questions and pick the ones that are interesting to you, and you guys
Okay.
can volley them back and forth.
Well, here's one for Gina. Will the Go-Go's be rescheduling the US tour for 2022?
Yes, of course we will. We're trying to do that right now. We're in the midst of doing it. What we have on the books at the moment is next June and July, we will be in the UK opening for Billy Idol, and he's doing stadium tours. So we'll play
Awesome.
Wembley, we'll play Leeds Arena, I don't know, whatever the all football stadiums are. We're going to do about 7 or 8 shows over there. And then booking around that, we want to do shows back here in the States. So yeah, I think we're going to get some stuff done. And we also are working on some projects that we are hoping will come to fruition next year, but we can't talk about right now because they're not done. Something on a personal level that I'm doing, and something also that the band is doing. So things are really looking great and moving forward, and it's just nice.
All right, so this is more, not so much a question, but hi, Gina and Kate. Gina, you have been an inspiration to me for 40 years. I hope you realize the huge impact you have made to a generation of girls, women who saw you out there making it happen, realized they could do it. I play drums because of you. Love you both. Thank you, Kelly.
Wow. Well, that's that's the sort of thing I live for, because when someone tells me that they picked up their instrument, no matter what it be, whether it's drums or guitar, whatever, because of me, that I was some sort of an inspiration to them, that there's nothing better than that, right? Kate, wouldn't you feel that way? Somebody says, I watched you sing. I mean, it immediately made me want to sing.
I mean, that's the biggest payoff, I think, in terms of just having been in the band. It's hearing people say how much the band meant to them, getting to them through hard times, or getting them through, and we've heard that over and over, and that was not something I even dreamed that was going to have this impact on people, that they got them through hard times, or it made them happy, and people can come and let loose and have fun, which seems like gold to me now. If someone just said, oh, your band's just fun, we just have fun, it's like, doesn't mean anything, it's just fun. Well, that's the most precious thing you could give someone, is to give them a good time, to come out and be able to unleash their kind of rock and roll passion, and just
hey,
let
having
the
a good time's not that easy, Kate. Having a good time's not that easy these days.
No, and people get into sort of an ecstatic state when they see a band. It's different from any other kind of experience. A live band, when you're dancing and sweating and watching, and this music is pulsing, and it's just an experience that's, I think, sort of, it's a universal something that all people love to have that experience. And it's kind of rare.
The universal elixir of love.
Yes, baby.
Music. Music is the universal elixir of love.
Let me drink it down.
Every day.
Let me see. Oh, okay. Gina, any advice for new and older drummers? What's your favorite snare for playing live and recording?
Oh, God, Kate.
That's a technical question.
What is my favorite snare for recording and for playing live? Well, there is one snare that I always use for recording, and I bought it in a pawn shop in Boston for $100 in 1980. And Wendell, would you give me my drum, my WFL, so I could show them? This drum has been played on every Go-Go's album. This is the snare that I've used on every Go-Go's album, and it sounds magnificent. You can tune it with any which way you want it, and it sounds good. It's it's all beat up kind of looking. And first thing I wanted to do was like get it painted, and they were like, oh, don't touch it. Don't touch any of it. Leave the show exactly as it is, or you'll mess with the sound. I didn't know that. But the snare looks kind of beat up. It's called a WFL, and it's mighty. It has an incredible sound, and you can make it sound boxy, boomy, thin, any which way you want to go with it, you can do it. And it's from 1957, the year I was born. The year I was born. That's why it's so special to me.
Yeah. Wow.
It's really cool.
Special snare.
Yeah, I don't bring that on tour because it's it's way too important. I'm trying to think. Here it is.
Woohoo.
See that? See, it says, I think it might say it on there, Ludwig WFL.
Yeah, that's beautiful blue.
Oh, here it goes, babe.
Beautiful blue snare. Wow.
Can you see that part right there? The brass part?
Yeah.
It says WFL in there. Yeah.
Whoa.
That's it. So beautiful.
That's awesome.
Snare. Yeah, right. And it still sounds incredible.
I wonder what is about it. What makes it like?
I don't know. I don't know. I had the edges of it trued to make sure that they were all perfectly, round and flat. And
Wow.
and then I was going to get the outside done. They said, do not touch it. You'll destroy the sound. So I have not.
Yeah.
And I've used it. I just use it on Club Zero, Kate.
Wow. Awesome. I love that. I love
from the first album to the last song we just recorded. It's been the snare on every song. And then of course you take different drums out on tour with you, you know what I mean? Ones that ones that sound good, but like that's, when you have something that sounds great in the studio, you know what I mean? You don't bring that out on tour that it could get lost or messed up. You know?
Yeah. No, I mean, no one brings, I guess maybe some people bring their special guitar or their special microphone, but not a recording. You would never bring your recording microphone. That's for sure. Whole different thing. But the snare, that's a beauty.
Yeah, it's cool.
My Farfisa actually was in the part of that show of musical instruments. It was at the Metropolitan Museum, and now it's at the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. So it's there. When you go there, you'll see it if you get to see the exhibit.
Farfisa. I actually bought one of those in the late 70s. And I didn't know what the hell I was doing with it, but it was really fun. The sound that came out of that instrument was so fucking cool. It was great.
So cool. It's a real.
Nothing sounds like a Farfisa. Nothing.
You can't recreate it.
Loved it.
It's a special sound, and if you look at the mechanism behind, well, we're nerding out on our instruments now, but just like I had to tune. You had to tune every single. Anyway, it was a very big chore to tune it. It wasn't just one knob. You had to go back and open the back and sort of use the screwdriver to tune it. So not easy, but it was.
Yeah, pain in the ass. Pain in the ass. It was okay.
So my mom was raised. This is from Diane Carter. My mom was raised in the 1930s, Preston, Maryland. Fun seeing my photo of you on page 201. Oh, I have some fun photos for Kate. Oh, wait a minute, just disappeared. Okay, I have some fun photos for Kate for her book, and Doc too, from Rock and Rio. Do you still take photos today, Gina? Well, if I want to see those photos, how can I get those photos? And the question to you is, do you still take photos today?
I just went out and bought a couple new Polaroids. I'm going to start taking Polaroids.
Oh, I love Polaroids.
I've decided I'm going to take Polaroids.
Best.
That and on my phone.
Well, they say the iPhone is just as good as a 35 millimeter now.
Yeah, I know. But I'm leaning towards the Polaroids.
I always loved.
I like that
Polaroids.
format.
Yeah,
like
and it's a little frame.
It's kind of cool.
Let's see, what other questions? Gina, will there be signed copies of your book available?
Sure. Yeah, I'll be there. I mean, what? Yeah, there'll be some signed copies.
Who's your favorite drummer that you've met in person? Can you tell us this story?
Well, I guess I have a lot of favorite drummers, but the most important one to me was Charlie Watts, that I actually got to meet in person.
Wow.
So, I mean, there's lots of great drummers around. Don't get me wrong.
But Watts.
Yeah, he was rock solid, and he played what the song required. He never tried to show off in his playing. He wasn't about, playing a million different beats or licks, whatever you want to call it. He played what the song required. He played what elevated that song. A real musical player, And that is the way that I learned from him, what I learned from him is to play for the song.
Yeah.
You'll never see me do a drum solo because I don't give a shit about a drum solo. What I care about is making that song the best it can be. What drum parts can I put in there that's going to make that song happen? It's going to elevate it. It's going to help get it completely. Awesome. Yeah, you're right. I mean, that's the way I feel. And I approach, every time a song's brought in, I still approach it that way. How can I make this song better?
Right.
Can these drum parts elevate it? If they can't, then you don't need drums. I don't know.
No drum solos. Wow. We don't do any drum solos or really guitar solos either. Just.
Well, there's plenty of bands around to do different things like that, Kate.
Yeah. I mean, I love a good drum solo, but when you get this thing where someone jams out, like a jam band, and you got like 10 minutes, 15 minutes of each instrument jamming around. I don't know. I'd rather have just the song be concise. Do it. Too. Start, get into it, rock on, finish it, and don't prolong it. Just bring all you can out of it as 3 minutes or 4 minutes.
Yeah, I want to hear a 3-minute song that knocks my head off. I want it to make me get up and move, or else have me laying down in tears.
Yeah,
I want it to affect me.
Yeah, and sometimes if you get too many breaks, well, it depends on the band, I guess. So but I agree. It's just, you just put what you can into the song it's all about making the song great. Because what's the band without, the music?
Yep.
It's all about the music, really, when it gets down to it.
And each player, their input is what makes the sound of that band. Yeah. And it's all so important, every little bit of it. Because without that one element, it wouldn't be the same band.
Yeah.
You might miss something that's an absolute hook. It's not there because that person wasn't there to do it. I don't know. I think every little piece counts.
Yeah, absolutely.
I really do.
Here's a good question. That's one I wanted to ask. It's from Tommy Costa. Were there any picks that you had to convince the other girls to allow in the book?
No.
So you didn't have to debate. I mean, because we've done photo sessions where we'd have so many pictures and we'd only agree on one or something, but now, of course, now that we look back at those younger pictures, I think we would probably not oppose too many. But did you have to get approval from the others? Or they just trusted you? Of course,
nobody said anything about it. First of all, the girls had seen the majority of the pictures that because Kate, I've had them for 40 years.
Right.
And and everybody's been to my house, and I would bring bags of them on tour, and we'd sit on the tour bus and get hysterical looking at them. And so the girls were pretty familiar with, like I say, 99% of what was going to go in the book.
That's good.
So there was no surprises for them. Everybody, as a matter of fact, this week, everyone got their book. And Belinda called me up yesterday and she said, Gina, I just want to tell you, you did a really great job at the book. I really, really love it. I really, really love it. And I was like, oh God, Belinda, that makes me feel so good. She said, you told the story great. She said, it's your language, it's your words, and you really told the truth about things. And the photos are so funny. She said, it made me laugh a lot. And then Kat called me up and said, Gene, you did a great job. You told the truth about things. And and once again, in your language, anybody that knows you wrote every word in there. And Charlotte just wrote me up and said, good book. That's sort of her style. And there you have it. It was good. Everybody liked it a whole lot. I feel good that they acknowledge it as such, that they acknowledge it as being something that needed to get done. And thank God that I did it, because I have someone in the band do this rather than some outsider.
That's the beauty of it. I mean, that you were able to do it from inside, but they gave you the sort of mandate to go ahead, go with it.
Yeah.
And you shared those pictures with them before. I don't think we really shared that many pictures. I mean, we're always taking pictures, but I try to send them, now that we have digital, everything you can just send, and I would never post anything without approval, but I don't think we ever took out bags of photos and showed them to each other. And I don't know. I think we definitely have to have someone sort of curate the pictures.
Yes, you need a curator, because there's no way you'll be able to figure it all out. You just won't. Yeah. You can't be objective with your own stuff, Kate.
Right. And what a lot of people don't realize is that if you didn't have those pictures that you took to put together a book, if you had to use other people's photos, professional photographers, you would certainly have to pay.
Yeah, sure.
So you wouldn't be able to afford to do a book. So just the fact that you had those photos is just genius. It's just so great that you had that wherewithal in the beginning to just snap away.
Well, I really wasn't thinking that far ahead, but it all worked out really well. It's all about karma, Kate.
Yeah, I guess so.
Kate, I think it's all about karma.
Well, you have that good intention, you have a good intention.
I didn't have a master plan, Kate. I just didn't.
Yeah.
I didn't have a master plan. I just knew that what was happening was a once in a lifetime thing. I felt like I needed to capture it on tape and on film rather. And I had a great camera, and so why not?
Yeah.
And so I did it. And, like every photograph to me meant something, because it's, because I was compelled to take it somehow. And so,
I don't know if I got many pictures of the whole band, just hard to get everyone together.
Yeah, that's rough. You just go with you have, babe.
Yeah.
And you'll have someone that can be objective and help me pick. It's hard. Oh God, it's hard.
Yeah. And there's so many photos. There's so many, just everyone's got their own, but hopefully some of them are just like yours, just show the essence of the band, just show the fun. That's what I love, is it shows the fun you had. Like you said, the boredom backstage, but all that is fun, just goofing around. And
because with bands like ours, I don't think we ever stood still. We were always sort of moving around or doing something. We always had a lot of energy, right?
Oh, yeah.
If we weren't talking, you were working on your outfit to fix it up and make it better, sewing on a button, doing something. Like, we were always that way as well. Like, oh, well, what are we going to do on this song? Let's work out this. We never just ever sat around.
No, we never just lounged around. Yeah.
Never did we do that. So we had that in common as well. Well, we've come a long way, Kate.
It is 7 o'clock. Are we supposed to be wrapping this up, or are we gonna?
Yeah, we could take one or two more questions if you feel like.
Yeah, let me look here.
There's so many.
Why? What is it that you need? What is it that you need? Do we miss anything? Is there something important to say? If not, let's wrap it up.
Maybe just one more question then.
Here's a good question. Will any of the photos be available as prints for purchase?
Yeah, the photographs in the book. This is another cool thing. I'm now an author, and now I'm having my first photography exhibition.
That is awesome. That is really awesome.
I can't believe it. And it's happening in Los Angeles on November 6th at Mr. Music Head. I think we're gonna have around 30 fine prints available for purchase. And I'll also be doing a book signing there as well. And then I come to New York and no, I'm sorry. Then I go to San Francisco and I do another photo exhibition at St. Joe's Art Academy. And that will be really fantastic. I'm pretty excited about that. I never thought that would happen. And I think this is what I'm most excited about, because this is the farthest reaching thing from anything I thought I could do.
That is amazing.
A gallery exhibit of my
Great.
photographs. I never thought I could do that.
Yeah.
But
I mean,
there's some very cool stuff. I look at it and I go, oh yeah, I get that. Yeah, I get it.
how
I
did you
get it."
pick which ones to,
Oh, Jesus Christ, Kate. I needed help because, yeah, I needed help. You know, you know what? Look, when you look at these photos, there's certain photos you can sort of go real straight ones, and then you can get the ones that are like not real straight, sort of
right.
off to the left and not really like the easy choices. They're the ones I go to. Like there's one in there, of course, the Clown Family. I think that should go. That all those
Yeah.
I would want to buy. And the one where the girls are in that hot tub and Belinda's throwing them a life raft.
Right.
That's fucking killing. Okay, I'm sorry. That's killing. And what else? There's some really funny ones, really good. I have to look it all over, but I think St. Joseph's is going to run stuff that's a little more out there. I think LA is going to be straighter, more rock
love
and roll
this one.
stuff. Huh?
I love this one. It's
Me
just,
too.
it's very artistic, it's just like
I
it could,
love it.
even if it wasn't the Go-Go's, it's just a really interesting photograph. I think they stand on their own. That's what's so great. They kind of just stand up.
You know what? I think so, Kate. I like those are the photographs I gravitate towards. But the galleries, they're going to pick what they believe their clientele will want to see.
Yeah.
So I'm letting them go, but I'm also letting them know what I think.
Right.
So we'll get some stuff here and there, and it'll all work out, hopefully.
Well, I'm proud of you. I'm just
God.
really
Kate,
so happy for you, and have fun at the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame induction. That's tomorrow, right?
we get inducted on Saturday.
Saturday. Okay.
Mm-hmm. But I'll talk to you, babe.
All right.
I'll talk to you because I want to get you someone to send you something.
All right. Well, this has been fun.
Kate, it's always a pleasure to talk to you. I love you. And
Love
I want
you
to come
too.
visit. I want to come visit your place.
Yeah. Come, we got to get together in person. There's too much Zooming,
I know.
but it's
We're gonna
good.
come
We
to
have
New
that.
York. I'm coming to New York
When are you coming to New York?
the
What's what?
14th or 15th of November
Oh, okay. Let's
for like 10 days.
let's talk. Let's get together.
We'll talk. I
All
love
right.
you, darling. And
Love
I
you
can't wait to
too.
see you. Okay.
Thanks everyone for
All right,
chiming
thank
in
you.
here, for your questions.
Thank you so much, Gina and Kate. That was such a great
Sure.
hour. Yeah, thank you everyone for coming tonight. Don't forget to buy your copy of Gina's new book, Made in
Yes.
Hollywood, in store or online at greenlightbookstore.com. Thank you, everybody. This has been so much fun. Have a great night.
Thank you. I'm
Bye,
gonna eat.
everybody.
Thanks, guys.